Hey, Mike, you ready to go live?
I'm ready to go live.
Good, because we're live.
Okay.
That's usually how that works.
I feel so alive.
Do you feel so alive?
Yeah.
Hey, it's the boy. So I gotta tell everybody. Mike and I are a little. We're tired. Like all
Yeah.
this SolarWinds stuff. We did a webinar yesterday, and I don't know. Yeah, this is. I keep expecting when we do these things that we'll get 5 or 10 people, and this one,
Yeah.
Mike, 400 people.
Yeah. Didn't you have to upgrade our license kind of mid presentation to
I
keep
did.
letting people in?
I did. For all you marketing leaders out there, upgrade your licenses before your really popular webinar, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, so Mike, there's security stuff going on. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah. Well, there are things going on. In fact, I got to say I'm tired. I'm tired. You're right. I am tired. I'm tired of really extraordinary news and events coming day after day after day. Groundhog Year has lasted way too long.
Oh,
You know, don't you agree? You know, on the upside, pretty quick here.
but we all got to meet Bill Murray. Oh wait, no, we didn't.
We actually watched Groundhog Day a few weeks ago, specifically as part of this conversation. You know? But we are coming up to the shortest day of the year, right? Which means, you know, I don't know what that means. I guess it means that mayhem is just going to happen in the dark, but at least it's something.
Yeah, I guess. Is there any InfoSec news worth talking about today?
So things that happened this week. There was the and I love the name of this, the Please Read Me ransomware attacked apparently 85,000 MySQL servers. Remember the University of Vermont medical ransomware attack? Their losses are going to exceed $63 million. And it's because everything in their organization got flattened because it was all connected to the same system that was used to go after all of them, right? Similarly, there is a vendor to dental practices that was used as a launch point to get 1 million records from various dental practices around the United States, right? Pattern emerging here, right? You find the place that facilitates access to the most, you know, the greatest number of victims. A good thing happened. The IoT Cybersecurity Improvement Act was signed into law, so that's good. The Federal Trade Commission is really going after a whole bunch of social media firms about privacy and the way they collect and what they do with all of the creepy tracking information on us. That's good. McAfee said that losses to criminal activity, cybercrime, are now exceeding $1 trillion a year. China has been somewhat caught or suspected of spying on Americans via Caribbean phone networks, right? So that just the tentacles are everywhere, you know. I mean, China's getting really good at this. So yeah, all that stuff happened this week.
So, are you just trolling me, or are you trolling all the viewers here? Because, like, there's a significant thing that we started off talking about that you kind of ignored there, didn't you?
Okay, yeah. Trolling, I don't know, messing around with you, maybe. So it occurred to me this morning as I was thinking about what we were going to talk about that the security news is a lot like the reporting we hear on climate change, right? It's like every year we have to say that was the hottest year on record, Okay, we're starting to say biggest hack ever multiple times a year. The really big ones now reliably start with a third party that gets compromised in order to get at their customers. So this year we saw Blackbaud, right? They're a provider to philanthropic organizations, bunch of hospitals, charities. Tyler Technologies, largest service provider to local governments, and now SolarWinds. And yeah, the legit biggest hack ever for real.
And I mean, it's when we say biggest hack ever, I mean, it's to the point where, my father, who is just, he's not into cybersecurity, is calling me saying, is this the biggest hack ever? I mean, this is a big, it's big. And everyone's talking about it in people in InfoSec, people not in InfoSec. We spent a good hour on it yesterday. The extent, still not known in terms of how many people, how many companies, how many organizations affected. So what's new on it since yesterday? And also, for folks who aren't caught up, can you just recap?
So yeah, some things happened overnight. Big things happened overnight. So for a bit of a recap, what's being reported as Russian SVR, which is basically the analog is the CIA in the United States. These actors compromised a SolarWinds build server and used that access to add a backdoor to this one product called Orion from SolarWinds, which when everybody downloaded it and installed it, gave them full access to the network infrastructure of the victims. So we know that FireEye, U.S. Treasury Department of Commerce, and specifically Commerce National Telecommunications and Information Administration, the NTIA, National Institutes of Health, CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency of the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Department of State. I've also heard that the Pentagon has been compromised, but that's not really being widely reported, and I don't know if that's legit or not. I would assume so.
I mean, it's so much and such a big deal. But the NTIA, I didn't hear that before. I did hear NATO and Canada both on high alert and searching for signs of compromise, possibly data loss. What about private sector targets? I mean, you feel like that's coming too, right?
Yeah, well, we talked about this yesterday, and that's what I thought until I read the new stuff from last night. I thought this would transition from nation state espionage to the appearance of organized crime because A, the value of the espionage has now been exhausted. They're caught. And B, because it provides a bit of deniability. It wasn't the SVR. It was criminals. Look, they're extorting everyone right now. It must have been them. But now Microsoft has stepped in again with a demonstration of power that the U.S. government wishes it had.
What did they do? I mean, I heard they seized domains used for command and control and used them as sinkholes, but doesn't that nullify the effectiveness of the hack?
In part, but Microsoft took a number of steps that amount to first identify and then kill the malware, right? The binaries that are known to contain the backdoor. So here's basically the steps they took. Number one, they revoked the signing certificate. So that means every system now doesn't trust that binary. Okay, it throws up a warning and you can bypass it, but don't do that. Then they added signatures to Defender, right? That's their antivirus endpoint agent, right? Which is actually super good in terms of how it stacks up against other agents, but they added these signatures to identify the binaries that have been Trojaned with this backdoor. Then they seized the command and control domains, the ones they know about, used to sinkhole, like you said, and identify infected systems, right? So not only does a system not have a command and control server to go to, it goes to this null server that Microsoft set up, but they know that anything that touches that server is compromised. They know this. So it gives them a way to identify all the victims, right? And now they took this final step. Defender will auto-quarantine systems when it detects a compromise. Those are extraordinary actions that have never been taken in aggregate like that. And this is the second time in just a few months that Microsoft has saved our global bacon. And the precedent that just got set is going to take a while to sink in. Those steps may indeed disable applications without the permission of the owner. And they're saying up front, this may brick some instances of SolarWinds, just nullify, just turn them off. So this is a bit of a slippery slope, but it looks like we have to depend on our trusted private sector to fill in where our government doesn't seem to have any effectiveness at all.
I guess I take a little issue with the term global bacon.
Okay, sorry.
There's a fair amount of the world that doesn't eat bacon, Mike. But I do want to bring up, Drex DeFord said, "Yay, offensive security, hooray!" Yeah. It's nice to see something happen there. I mean, it's what you mean about power, right? That's reaching into everyone's business, government agency, internationally, take this action, which may have unintended consequences.
Yep.
But like, I wonder if Microsoft checked with lawyers first or just said, nah, we're going to do this. Since the president of Microsoft used to be their general counsel,
you think there's some oversight there, yeah.
But good lawyers say, what, it's not about a yes or a no, it's about the risk, and right now the benefit outweighs the risk, right?
Yep.
So God, it's great that they did this. What else is news right now?
So this one's gone kind of unnoticed, but it's just as big a story. And I've been following this in Haaretz and Jerusalem Post. Israel and Iran are really coming to blows. They're going back and forth. They're cybering each other. And Iranian actors have hit 80 Israeli firms. And they've done some pretty bad damage, apparently. But the story is that these Iranian actors did not use sophisticated techniques like our Russian friends. And in fact, what they used was a lot of open source tools you learn to use when you get your certified ethical hacker certification, right? Like Kali Linux. So what this means is Israeli organizations are poorly protected and pretty exposed.
Well, that's not good.
No.
Mike, why?
Well, I don't think it's a condition that's going to persist very long. Israel is well known for offensive cyber operations, and they're likely going to turn inward to get things cleaned up, knowing that an adversary is in part making gains, but in part causing kind of embarrassing PR, right? So, they're going to get after this problem right away. But, the fact is, they're doing this. There's some back and forth going on now that's coming way out into the open between a couple of countries, and with the fact that the Russians just put the hack on the globe, and it's real obvious what has happened here. There's a lot of people that are predisposed to think it wasn't Russia, it was China, and so that narrative is out there. I'm gonna believe the intelligence agencies on this one.
All right. Yeah. We're here talking about the world caving in. So, I'm sure that makes everybody feel real good. Although, the Microsoft stuff like that, I'm pretty happy about that. Like they're actually doing some stuff. By the way, other things that I'm happy about. Mike delivered me an early Hanukkah gift that I don't think we've announced here yet and is important for everyone to know. And that is, he finally got me an email address that's worth having. You can now email me at jake@ci.security. And you may think, why would I want to email Jake? Jake is not the expert here. He's just a pretty face. And I know that all of you are thinking that, because Mike is certainly not. So why do you want to email me? I will tell you why you want to email me. So yesterday, when we did when we did the presentation, people emailed me because if you email me, you can get Mike's third-party vendor forms and how to budget for cybersecurity forms, and they're really good. And Mike, did you see the feedback this morning? I forget who it came from, but they're like, "Oh my God, these forms are great!" And Mike's offering to help people fill them out.
They're not that self-explanatory. It may take a conversation.
Yeah, they're not marketing documents. So the pretty face can send them to you, but then that guy over there who got me the email address actually has to help you with them. So email me if you want them. It's jake@ci.security. Mike, as if that wasn't good enough news, is there any good news you can impart on to us?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that was pretty good news. And by the way, all I had to do was make a phone call to a dude who I know can do that. So I guess it depends on your point of view, but here's one that made me smile. It has now been confirmed by Dutch prosecutors that yes, a Dutch citizen did indeed break into Trump's Twitter account on October 16th by guessing the password. This was reported back then, and I think you and I talked about it once, but said, it's a rumor that really not confirmed. So, this was reported back then because this guy disclosed it right away. He told everybody, and they considered prosecuting him for it. So they investigated to confirm the claim. Yes, the president's password was MAGA 2020 bang, and no, they're not going to prosecute him.
Is that happy or sad?
Hashtag sad.
So, I do want to point out here, the legal precedent now is if someone's password is so stupid that you can just sit there and guess it without a password cracker or any technology, that's not a crime.
If you're sitting in the Netherlands.
Like SolarWinds 123. Oh, wait. Did I say that out loud?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Oh, now everyone knows.
Oh, no. Did I give away SolarWinds password?
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, it's already all over the internet, right?
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah. Just, as Drek says in the comments here, if you add an exclamation mark at the end, that makes it secure.
That's right. And just replace the A with a 5 or something. No.
No, Mike, you were God, you are so bad at this. It's the S. You replace the S with a 5.
Oh, right.
So it's PA55 word. That's how you spell password.
Didn't you tell me this morning LinkedIn is complaining about the quality of my password?
Yeah. So funny story.
Who do they think they are?
So yeah, funny story for everybody. So LinkedIn apparently has better security than any of us thought. And the program that we use to do these, gets disconnected from LinkedIn so that LinkedIn can make sure that it's supposed to be connected to LinkedIn, right? Well, so we had to re-put in Mike's password this morning, and LinkedIn told Mike his password sucks.
Yeah.
Mike, your password sucks.
It does not suck. It does not suck.
Well, you know what? Since I just work in marketing,
you're going to believe LinkedIn or me?
I'm going to believe LinkedIn. Okay. Mike, your password sucks. You need to, as Drex points out, you need to replace all of your O's with zeros and all of your S's with 5s, and that'll fix it.
Okay. Well, since I had to give you the password to get in, I'm now going to change it. So I guess I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to go change it right now to, Jake's the one with the pretty face, but I'll replace all of the S's with
5s.
That'll fix it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, everybody, have a great day. Mike and I haven't talked about whether we're going to do one on Christmas Eve next week. So we might be here next week and we might not. As you might guess from our last names, Christmas Eve is probably a bigger deal for him than for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's I would probably get the veto from home.
Mm-hmm.
But let's play it by ear. It kind of depends on what happens next week now, doesn't it?
One of the really bad things about the pandemic is like the thing that Jews do on Christmas is to go get Chinese food and go to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Not this year.
Mm-mm.
Very sad. Very sad. I feel like Christmas is ruined.
Well, there's only 2 more weeks left of this year, man. Let's get it. Let's just get it over with and get out of here.
All right, bring me the vaccine, everybody. I think Mike and I should be in the priority list because we're funny. Okay. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.